The Dallas Mavericks are making the NBA Finals. They just won the third game against the Minnesota Timberwolves to take a 3-0 lead in the series. And Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, what a fourth quarter. I don't have the exact statistics in front of me, but it just felt like almost every basket was from them in the fourth quarter. That was insane. Of course, there's a PJ3, but that was generated from Kyrie Irving. If you look through the fourth, just the entire quarter, Kyrie Irving layup, Kyrie Irving make, Kyrie Irving make, Luka Doncic. I think Luka Doncic 3, Kyrie Irving free throws, PJ Washington tip shot, PJ Washington hit another 3 later, of course, like I mentioned. Luka 2, Kyrie 2, then Luka 2, another one in the clutch. Gafford made an alley-oop, of course, but pretty much every shot was made by either Luka or Kyrie or generated by one of them. That was one of the greatest fourth quarters I've seen from a duo ever. It felt like Minnesota had that game at points. They were up 5 late, tied the game heading into the fourth quarter, and this is a big loss for the Mavericks. Derek Lively got injured. In the non-Derek Lively minutes, this team struggled, a big struggled. Gafford had some highlight moments, especially down the end of the game, last 4 or so minutes, prevented Minnesota from getting some rebounds, unlike earlier in the game. Got that massive alley-oop. And I believe he made the free throw. Not 100% sure. I believe he made the free throw. Either way, just insane clutch performance by Gafford. Aside from that, the bigs were not great. Dwight Powell had to play minutes. He played 8 minutes in this game. That shouldn't happen. Luckily, he was only a -1, which is surprising. Yeah, Dwight Powell had to play minutes. Whenever that happens, it's not good. But luckily, Gafford stepped up at the end of the game. They pretty much ran a 7-man rotation this game. I guess 8 when you count the kind of mix of Powell and Lively. But that's different. Tim Hardaway Jr. didn't play, which was probably good. He really didn't do much. Exum played 1 minute. I think that's the last we've seen of Exum. To be fair, I thought that after last game too. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they tried again, but the Exum minutes just aren't working. But either way, you go up 3-0. Luka finishes with 33, shot 10 for 20, 5 for 11 from 3, 8 for 10 from the free throw, 5 steals, and it felt like every one of them was important. Even the one at the end of the quarter, I think it was the end of the half, might have been at the end of the third quarter against Cat. I think it was the end of the third quarter. Even that one felt important because Minnesota now, the third quarter of last game and then first quarter of this game, hit big shots at the end of the quarter, just cut the deficit. Or keep the deficit up, or keep the lead up, like in the third quarter last game. And he prevents that. He's just getting in passing lanes, which is good. His defense hasn't been bad. Kyrie's defense hasn't been bad. The entire starting lineup and the positives, which I think is really important to note, PJ Washington plus 10, Derek Jones Jr. plus 15, which is a game high. Daniel Gafford plus 10, Kyrie Irving plus 12, Luka only plus 6, which the non-Luka minutes worked very well. I'm going to say that's because of Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy finished as a -6. It really didn't feel like the Jaden Hardy minutes were that bad. Of course, it felt like at the end of, the fourth quarter, he played the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. They did, I think, tie in the Jaden Hardy minutes. They didn't feel good. Like, it was just Kyrie Irving making 2 big shots. They didn't feel good. They weren't good minutes. But aside from that, he played very good again. I think they found their 7th man behind maybe 8th man. You got the starting lineup, Lively, Green, and then Jaden Hardy. They found that guy as in the non-Kyrie or Luka minutes to step up. And Kyrie and Luka played 42 and 41 minutes, so I think Hardy played every single minute that one of them were on the floor. Worked very well. PJ Washington hit some of his threes. Seemed like PJ, he hit 1 3 early and then just didn't hit some for the rest of the game. Whenever you need a clutch 3 from him, it goes in. Hit a big one down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Derek Jones Jr. shot 3 for 3 on threes. Not many attempts, but he made them. Great defense again. And Anthony Edwards, I will say this, Minnesota had a stretch where they just gave the ball to Ant, and it was going in. And it felt like the game was definitely at risk then Minnesota took the lead at some points. That doesn't happen without that stretch. He finishes with 26 points, shot 24 field goal attempts. So he did shoot. Like he said before the game, he did shoot. He said he was going to do that. He shot the ball a lot. Didn't go in much. Only 2 threes. He went to the cup, and it worked, especially when Lively was out. He had a lot of his points in the third quarter. I think over 10 of them. Because Lively was out. They had Gafford in. They had Powell in for stretches. You're not going to stop Ant with that. I mean, Gafford, he's a good shot blocker. He's not as good as Lively defensively, especially when protecting the cup. Really just overall, but he's not as good as Lively defensively, so that does matter. When will Lively come back? That looked like a concussion to me. I think they said it was neck soreness, so maybe he's not in concussion protocol. Maybe he's fine to come back next game, but we'll see. It's going to be big for Dallas. Of course, it's 3-0. The series is pretty much over. No team has ever come back from 3-0. But this series is just like a few bounces away from it being 0-3 Minnesota. So, I mean, I don't think it's over. I think out of all 3-0 series, this series isn't over. I do think Dallas does have this comfortably, though. And it really just comes down to Kyrie and Luka closing. They're two of the best shot makers in the league, tough shot makers in the league. Luka just consistently getting to that mid-range area, spamming the pick and roll, even if he's not. He was able to get Jaden McDaniels a couple times, chasing him, because of his elite first step, because of his deceleration, his change of direction. That's stuff that Luka excels at. He might not be the most athletic player. He might not have the best hops. Of course, he did have that clutch knocking the ball away from Gobert. And I think it was game 1. But, I mean, he doesn't have the most hops. He's athletic just in different ways than we think. And his closing was amazing. Kyrie, a lot of tough shots, especially one, I think it was 109, 105. Kyrie hits a big shot on the corner. Midi felt like it was over at that point. Felt like after that shot, yeah, Dallas won it. They're going to the NBA Finals. That was my feeling after that. Yeah, Dallas just won that game. Dallas is making the NBA Finals. Hit some big threes where Minnesota was pulling away at the start of the fourth quarter. They were up, I believe, 104-99, maybe. No, I think it was 92-87, 94-89, something like that. Kyrie hit some big shots. Cut the lead. I think tied it by the time Luka got in, or is only a deficit of 2. It was close. Instead of what could been a huge Minnesota lead. And that just might be the difference. One team has Ant and Cat, just a terrible performance again. Shot 5 for 18. That's like the same number he shot last game. I think it was 5 for 17. Might have been Ant. I think it was Cat, or 4 for 16. So just a terrible performance again. He was a minus 12. He really wasn't great defensively. Luka hit a step-back 3 on him. I think it was step-back 3 in the fourth quarter. And to be fair, it was a good contest. But that might be the difference in the series. One team has Luka Doncic. One team has Kyrie Irving. And then the other has Karl Anthony Towns. The other has Anthony Edwards. And there's just not much you can do in that. Luka's that special a player where if you have Luka Doncic, you're probably going to win. It's Luka Doncic. And the Mavs are one game away from making the NBA Finals. Now, for Minnesota, what can you do? Just throw everything you have at Luka, I guess. Maybe double him more. Make Gafford create, because Gafford was not great. Gafford, I'm not sure if he had turnovers. Yeah, he had 3 turnovers in 26 minutes or 29 minutes. Gafford was he was not making the right decisions with the ball when they doubled Luka after. If Lively sits, that's probably what you do defensively. Just make Gafford make the right decisions because you don't want Luka to beat you. Either way, if it goes to a close game, who are you rather going to have, Ant or Luka and Kyrie? That might be the series. That might be the series. Dallas Mavericks probably heading to the NBA Finals. What's next for Minnesota in the series? I don't know. Just got to change your defensive strategies. I'm not a coach. I probably don't have the best analysis. Maybe throw everything you have at Luka. Maybe just let Ant shoot a million times. Maybe shoot threes 50 times, which almost worked in game 1. Maybe just got to pull away. Because Dallas, if it gets close, they've been in this position a million times. If you made it this far, subscribe. It would mean a lot. China 1,000. We're kind of close. And making a video on Jason Tatum and the Celtics timeline throughout the Tatum era. So that should be out in a week or 2. So watch for that. It'll be some big video essay, like 20 plus minutes.